Welcome to the Good Podcast. Today we have a guest speaker to raise awareness about the Holocaust on our podcast today. Our guest, Arek Hersh, one of the youngest people to survive the Holocaust, is a person who lived in the ghettos. He went to several camps, including the most famous Auschwitz death camp, and lived to tell the tale after being liberated. Say hello to our listeners, Mr. Hersh.
Please, call me Arek.
Tell me, Arek, what is it you do to raise awareness?
I usually go to schools, universities, anywhere I can, teach our youth about the horrors I have seen committed by real people, why atrocities like these and other crimes against humanity need to be stopped.
That's a good reason, Arek. Over here at the Good Podcast, we try our best to educate people on things happening or things that have happened that are really important to our future as people. So, when were you born and where?
I was born on the 13th of September, 1928. I was raised in Sieridaz, Poland.
Before the war, what did you do as a young man?
I loved ice skating. It was one of my favorite things to do. I also had done choir when I was younger. I had already considered disdain because of my religion. My title is a Jew. I went to a Jewish school before it was shut down by the Nazis once they invaded Poland.
What happened after you were kicked out of school and the Nazis came in as well as the Soviets?
I was forced to flee Sieridaz, but the ill judgment of the rest of my family. We went back to Sieridaz, and we were under control by the Nazis. I remember when right before I went back to Sieridaz, I witnessed the humiliation of a fellow Jew in the street. They laughed at him after cutting off his beard.
I understand once you returned to Sieridaz, you were captured and put in a camp. It was named Auschwitz, is that correct?
Sort of. It was around 1941. I was 13, in my home. German soldiers came into our home and tried to take my father. He ran away before they could grab him, so they tried to take my brother. My brother escaped, so they grabbed me and sent me to the first camp I was in. By little. After a year or so, I had been released and put in a large ghetto.
A ghetto? Which one were you located in?
A Lodz ghetto.
Did anyone you know survive Auschwitz and come to the ghetto with you?
No. In fact, I lied to several people the few months I came back. They kept coming to me, asking me, how is this man? Where is my daughter? Is there resistance? I said yes. I said yes and told them their family was alive, and told them there was hope. I had not thought of hope at the time. I figured I was dead.
What did you do in the Lodz ghetto?
Work and work. But nothing much really happened until August happened.
What happened in August?
The soldiers took us. A church, a synagogue, thousands of us, just rounded up into the building. We were herded like cattle into the church. I wasn't worried about anything. I figured I was already dead. I snuck out of the church to get my mother water. I hated to see her suffer.
What happened to you in the church?
They sent them to Chelmno. While I was caught and I lied about being a tailor, I was with 150 other people. Majority of the people in the church were killed.
I understand you stayed in the ghettos for a while then.
An orphanage, they took me. I worked at a mill for the next 2 years. I didn't know what to do. I was on my own. The older people didn't have time for me, So I went out on the street. I sat on the corner and I started crying. I didn't know what to do. You know what happened to the ghetto?
They shut it down?
Yes, exactly that. They shut us down in 1944. They were done with us. We either die or became slaves to their cause. It was the 25th of August in 1944 when they took me to Auschwitz. I was 15. I noticed that the healthier people went to the right during selection. A distraction happened. I was sent to the left, but I wasn't going that way. While everyone dealt with the disturbance, I found myself rushing to the right, and I went through the showers, the shaving, the disinfectant, the cries I heard. It was all I could hear, though the worst shock was the smell of burning flesh.
Such a horrible thing.
I became B7608. I was not Arek Hersh during the ordeal I went through in Auschwitz. I became a different kid. I was made into an agricultural worker. They didn't buy fertilizer, but we had a lot of it. The fertilizer I used still had bones in them. They came from the crematorium. I remember halfway through my enslavement, I was also a fishing commando.
What about the infamous trek you had to do with everyone else in Auschwitz to get to Buchenwald? Were you lucky to survive?
They sent us on a trail once. The Soviets started becoming a big problem. It was cold, badly cold. I could not feel the skin on my body except for when I was shoved or pulled. They didn't give us more clothes or food. We just had to march, like we were organized.
Buchenwald, you were placed in a child barrack when you later you found yourself on train cars?
Why, yes, 3,000 of us. We were starved. I forgot exactly how long the ride was. By the time we got to the
Therensierenstadt.
In Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia. Oh my God. There were only 600 of us by the end.
Who liberated you, the Americans or the Soviets?
The Soviets found us on May 8th. I remember what a soldier handed me to eat, rice pudding.
Where did you go after the war?
I stayed put wherever I was until I learned that the Germans lost the war. I went to Prague and then was flown all the way to Britain because of a program about helping the children of the Holocaust. It was as if we had been taken to another world.
Before you wrote your book, what did you do in Britain?
I became an electrician. I wrote my book in 1999. By the time I already had 3 kids. Later, I learned after the war that only 40 people from my hometown survived.
It was a horror, Nazi Germany. Thank you for coming in today and telling us your story. You help us teach the past.
Sieridaz, Poland. One of the oldest cities in Poland. It is a lovely European city to vacation to, especially if you are a fan of history. One of the oldest settlements in Poland dating back to the 6th century, one of the earliest mentions of the place being the Bull of Gnesio. A lot of history is in Sieridaz from the Second World War. Arek Hersh, a survivor of the Holocaust, was born in the town and was known to be one of the youngest people to survive the Second World War as a victim of the Holocaust. The buildings and green areas around Sieridaz is beautiful. The churches are well restored. Sieridaz has improved well since the late 2000s because of residential projects and townships. Come to Sieridaz today and have the best historical vacation of your life.